Hey, everybody, welcome back to Kaulig Nation, your one stop shop for all things Kaulig Nation, Dinger Nation, SVG Nation, you name it, we probably got it. Well, we're entering a couple of off weeks here, but we will still have content coming on the channel. We're going to do a deep dive on SVG's Xfinity and Cup Series stats from this year, so stay tuned for that. We're going to do a kind of like a late mid-season report card on all the colleague drivers across all the series. But in this video, we are here to discuss the Indy Xfinity results. And I do think, there's some intriguing things to dive into. First off, apologies for no video today. Yeah, you might be able to tell by the sound of my voice. I'm a little under the weather, and Ryan is currently on a flight, so he has sent me a pre-recorded little video that will be added on to the end of this. Look, Kaulig went out and brought some speed at Indy this weekend in the Xfinity Series. AJ Allmendinger had a legitimate shot at winning this thing. Top three car all day long. Led for a tiny bit, was second for a bit. Um, Accumulated the second most points of any driver in the race. He's accumulated the second most points of any Xfinity driver over the last 5 races. So things are definitely starting to swing the right way. I still don't think they have winning speed on ovals. They're getting closer. They're a lot closer. If you would have asked me 5 weeks ago if I thought they would be where they are right now, the answer would be no. As much as I try to be a glass half full guy, I feel like try to keep things as realistic as possible. I know Ryan tries to be the more positive of the two of us, and looks at things on the brighter side. I try to just look at the results for what they are. Not that he doesn't either, but yeah, it's unfortunate because AJ only ended up finishing eighth. Strategy call didn't really work out for him. I don't think they had anything for the Fords anyway. I know AJ was able to get around them a couple of times, but he didn't seem to have drafting help. So an eighth place finish is a little bit of a letdown. Josh Williams was involved in a pretty serious wreck that actually sort of was caused by his teammate Dye. Glad Josh is okay though. Daniel Dye, seventh place finish. And then SVG, who, make no mistake, and I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for this, all the Kaulig guys, not just SVG, were helped out by that lap one wreck that took a couple of very competitive cars out of the race and also damaged some other competitive cars. Um, I'll touch on that wreck to begin with. I had called it. I said, we're going to get a doozy of a wreck on a restart here, and it's not going to be pretty. And it ended up happening in both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. While Indy's a big track, it's a narrow track, and if you wash up the track and there's a bunch of cars there, chances are you're going to get collected. And on a couple occasions, that happened in both races and took out a bunch of good cars. So all the Kaulig guys benefited from a little bit of a weaker field on Saturday. You have to take that into consideration while talking about how SVG finished, talking about how AJ was top three all day. They had some help in regards to that. In terms of who was at fault for that wreck, it was a racing incident. I know Sam Mayer thinks that Allmendinger was at fault for it, but it's a restart. You're making up all the positions you can. You have a guy on the outside. Look, it's really simple. If someone's on your outside, it's your job to keep your car down there. You can't do it, then that's what happens. And Sam didn't get out of the gas, and I know there's some debate whether it was just arrow loose or if he tapped the door. I think he tapped AJ's door, but at the end of the day, I'm sure arrow loose had something to do with it. Um, but you got to be able to hold on to that sometimes. Look at AJ's half wreck there at Pocono, or half spin, I should say. He could have washed up and wrecked the whole field, but he did a good job of being able to hold on to the car. Sam lately has shown an inability to save race cars, which makes me a little more hesitant on whether Kaulig should go after him or not. Um, but I mean, he's still a great road racer. He doesn't handle media very well. He comes across like a whiner. On the SVG front, I so it's the tale of two stories, really. He was not a top five car in the race. Um, he was about a 10th to 12th place car. And that might be even being a little generous. If you go back and look at the lap times, there's a couple of websites that will give you driver data that's based on what your quick lap time was, what your average lap time was, what your finishing position was, and how many passes you made. Even though SVG finished fourth, his overall driver rating data was nowhere close to fourth. That being said, I don't want people to just think I'm harping on SVG. The guy deserves a shit ton of credit. Look, they made a strategy call. Once again, him and Bruce were on the same page. They had great luck on pit road. Um, they got fresh tires. And look, hey, people can get fresh tires all the time. And sometimes the field can be a sitting duck. And in this case, the field was very much a sitting duck when SVG was on fresh tires. But that doesn't mean the spots are a given. AJ in the Cup Series race, albeit it's harder to pass in the Cup Series race, back at Nashville, had a chance to go get some fresh tires and probably should have gained 3 or 4 spots on a restart. Picked the wrong lane, got behind the wrong person, and instead actually lost the spot despite being on fresh tires. SVG got onto those fresh tires and made something of it. He capitalized on it. He capitalized on the car's ability to stick to the bottom of the track. Um, very impressive. Uh, I seen some people out there being like, he was close to a win, and if things would have gone his way a little bit more, and maybe there was some more carnage at the end, he would have had a shot at it. But none of the Kaulig cars had winning speed. You please don't fool yourselves. But SVG deserves a boatload of credit for going to a place like Indianapolis, getting the fresh tires, Bruce making the right call, and then also being able to capitalize on it. Again, just because you have fresh tires doesn't mean you're going to capitalize on it. It does not mean it's going to go your way. And they executed well. And this is a good thing. This is something that usually takes drivers to pick up on. Even the most seasoned of drivers still make mistakes where they get behind the wrong person and it just doesn't turn out for them. In this case, it worked out very well for them. Super proud of SVG. This was a positive sign in his development, specifically because the straightaways, felt like they were racing at Daytona or Talladega, very, very tandem driving like. So I really appreciated what SVG showed this weekend. I thought he was better than what I gave him credit for. And that's only a good thing for him and the team. Apologize. You can probably hear my kiddo in the background. But yeah, it positive race for SVG. AJ with great speed. He's been the second best driver in the series for the last 5 weeks. Things are going the right way. Uh, Now, Richmond's up next for these guys after a couple of weeks off, and I'm warning everybody now the whole team will likely struggle there. Kaulig is utterly lost at places like Richmond, Martinsville, Phoenix. They can't seem to get them down. And here's hoping the couple weeks off will help them prepare a little better. But in the last few years, Richmond is arguably their worst racetrack. So expectations are at an all time low, not just for SVG, but for all the drivers out there. Anyways, Ryan, what do you have to say about the Xfinity race at Indianapolis?
Hey, Dinger Nation, Cog Nation, SVG Nation, this is Ryan here. I wanted to record a quick video for everyone. I will not be able to do the show this week with Sean, so I wanted to give you my quick thoughts on the Indianapolis weekend, Xfinity, and Cup. Um, I was really impressed with the Kaulig Xfinity cars this weekend. I thought they were very, very fast. Particularly AJ, who unloaded really well. But all four cars, practiced pretty well, qualified pretty well, all inside the top 22. Um, and all of them raced pretty comfortably inside the top 20. SVG was able to drive his way into the top 10 by the end of stage 2. AJ was running top 3 all day long. Really impressive speed from the Kaulig camp this weekend on the Xfinity side. Even Chris Rice said after the race, Kaulig was the best Chevy team this weekend, and they were really, really good. I don't think they had anything for the Stewart Haas Fords. Riley Herbst got a win over Cole Custer and a great finish, but was really happy with the performance of the team this weekend. AJ unfortunately made, I would say, a poor pit strategy, stayed out on the final caution with 15 to go, along with the top two drivers and Eric Almirola. And unfortunately, the car just didn't respond well, fell backwards. Some of the cars with fresher tires passed him. SVG was able to bring it home fourth, which was excellent. He was running top five there. Probably was going to finish fourth or fifth without the caution, so he really earned his top five today. Was really hoping both two cars would get in the top five. Instead, we had three in the top 10. Daniel Dye had a nice drive on fresh tires up to seventh. So, all in all, guys, I wanted to just kind of give you my thoughts. I thought the Kaulig Xfinity cars were really good. They've been good since Nashville, and I hope they can carry this momentum here through the rest of the season. They do have 3 weeks off now because of the Olympic break, and I hope they come back out. I think they'll be at Richmond or maybe Daytona after that, but I hope they can keep bringing the same speed week in and week out. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.